What if the night sky turned into a blazing inferno? April 26, 1986, 1:23 in the morning. It was a quiet spring night, stars filled the dark sky, the land of Ukraine slept peacefully. Then a sound was heard, a terrible deep shuddering sound. The earth itself seemed to moan. It was not the sound of thunder, it was not the fury of a storm. This was something entirely new, something man-made, terrifying, awful. The wider world did not know. Not yet, it continued to sleep. But a profound change had arrived. A dreadful, irreversible change had come. In a place known as Chernobyl. At the infamous Reactor number 4. Something essential had broken apart. Broken in a catastrophic way. It unleashed an unimaginable power. A dark, unseen, silent power. That would go on to touch millions. And forever scar the ancient land. This was so much more than an accident. It was a definitive turning point. A deep wound inflicted on the planet. A grievous wound on all its people. A terrible wound on the future itself. The world for a moment truly stood still, listening to the deafening silence that followed the terrible echoing roar. Pripyat was a very new town, built for Chernobyl's workers. A shining Soviet model city, full of young families. They had bright hopes, believed in progress, trusted the peaceful atom. Their future seemed secure. Modern apartments rose high, schools echoed with children, shops had plenty of goods, parks offered green spaces, life felt good here. Everything was well planned. A comfortable modern existence, all lived close to the plant. The atom was their friend, or so they thought. It brought them electricity. It brought them jobs. It gave their town life. A reason to be proud, a symbol of Soviet strength. They trusted its power. They did not see its other side, the atom's dark side, its destructive potential, its capacity for ruin. They would learn the truth in the most terrible way. Their dream would shatter. Their lives would break. The Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant. It stood vast and strong. 4 reactors worked day and night, making vital energy for the country. Reactor number 4, the newest, was a giant of immense power, a source of national pride, and immense, awesome power. These were special RBMK reactors, a unique Soviet design. They produced useful power, but held a dangerous secret, a critical flaw in their core. Known to some, not all, under specific conditions. If power levels dropped low, the reactor could surge uncontrollably. This was its fatal flaw, a crucial design choice. For cost and production, safety was compromised, fatally compromised for efficiency. People were told it was safe, the safest reactor in the world. They believed the experts, they trusted the state. But the reactor's design carried a seed of disaster like a ticking time bomb waiting for the wrong moment. On that fateful dark April night, the workers planned a safety test at reactor number 4. It was already delayed, the night shift was tired, they began to reduce power. The reactor became sluggish, they tried to raise it, against safety rules. A chain reaction began, warning lights flashed, alarms shrieked, they hit the emergency stop, but it was too late. The power surge was unstoppable. Section 5. The earth shuddered. The explosion. There was a sudden violent power surge. The reactor core rapidly overheated. Immense pressure built up inside. Then the first terrible explosion. A massive destructive steam blast. It ripped the huge reactor apart. The 2,000-ton lid simply vanished. It was flung high into the night air. Only seconds later, another blast followed. A second, even mightier explosion. This one was chemical, from hydrogen gas. It tore violently through the building. Graphite blocks and nuclear fuel ejected. Burning, highly radioactive pieces. They shot high into the dark sky. A deadly, terrifying, fiery fountain. The night sky directly above the plant glowed with an eerie, unnatural red. Some distant onlookers saw beautiful colors like a strange, premature dawn. But this was not any kind of beauty. It was the unmistakable glow of death. Invisible radiation poured out endlessly, unseen, unheard, yet utterly lethal. The core of the reactor was open, completely exposed to the outside air. It was now a raging nuclear furnace, burning fiercely and uncontrollably. It continuously spewed its deadly poison. Countless radioactive isotopes were released. These were then carried far by the wind. A global catastrophe had truly begun. Section 6. Into the Inferno, the first responders. Brave firefighters were immediately called. They arrived on the scene very fast. They saw terrible flames leaping high from the wrecked reactor building. They thought it was just a fire, a normal though extremely big fire. No one properly warned them about the invisible deadly danger. Brave men, every single one of them. They courageously climbed onto the roof, the damaged roof of Reactor 3, right next to the destroyed one. They fought the raging, stubborn fires with water hoses and sheer courage, not knowing the true, ultimate cost of their incredibly heroic actions. Lethal radiation was absolutely everywhere, at intense, unimaginably deadly levels. It had no discernible smell, it had no particular taste. They soon felt a metallic taste. Their exposed skin tingled, then burned. Their bodies absorbed the radiation. The deadly poison silently entered them. They were undoubtedly true heroes that night. They stopped the dangerous fire from spreading, thereby preventing an even greater disaster. But they all paid a very high price. Many became desperately sick very quickly, suffering from horrible radiation sickness. 28 of them died soon after. Their selfless sacrifice was truly immense. Section 7. A Wall of Silence. The Cover-Up. The news slowly reached Moscow of an accident, then a fire. The leaders did not fully grasp the true scale, the utter horror, or perhaps they simply chose not to. All information was tightly controlled. Official secrecy was always paramount, even in the face of such disaster. They initially chose to stay silent for precious, critically vital hours. Then, for more days, this silence continued. They did not tell their own people. They did not quickly inform the world. There was fear of panic, of shame. The rigid Soviet system was at work. This became a terrible, costly silence. In the nearby town of Pripyat, life went on for a full day and a half. Children played happily outside in the sun. Joyful weddings even took place. People certainly saw the rising smoke. They heard many strange, worrying rumors. Soldiers started to appear on streets. But still, there was no official word. The government eventually said very little. An accident has occurred at the plant. All necessary measures are being taken. They deliberately downplayed the real danger. This prolonged silence, this official deceit, was yet another insidious form of poison. It undoubtedly cost more lives, delayed help. It completely shattered all public trust. Section 8. The Invisible Enemy. Radiation spreads. The wind, it knew no man-made borders. It carried the lethal radioactive cloud. Invisible radioactive particles began to spread. First, they moved across all of Ukraine, then over Belarus and then Russia. Vast areas of land were contaminated, an invisible, silent form of death, drifting quietly on the gentle breeze. The dangerous cloud then moved further west, over Poland, and then into Scandinavia. Sweden was the first to detect the unusually high radiation. They knew it was not from theirs. Something was terribly wrong, far away in the east. Alerted scientists across Europe picked up these alarming signals. Warning bells started ringing everywhere. They asked many urgent questions. Where did this radiation come from? What exactly had happened over there? The entire world demanded clear answers. A palpable sense of fear began to grow. Finally, late on April 28th, Moscow made an announcement. It was a brief, terse statement confirming an accident at Chernobyl. The whole world was stunned. The true scale was still unimaginable. The attempted cover-up had clearly failed. The horrifying truth began to emerge. Section 9. A Scar on the Earth. Long-term consequences. So many innocent people suffered. The brave and selfless first responders, the dedicated plant workers, local people. Many died from acute radiation. Thousands more eventually became very ill. Terrible cancers appeared much later. Children were particularly affected. Countless promising lives were cut short. Over 350,000 ordinary people were forcibly made to leave their homes, their towns, their memories. Pripyat became a silent ghost town. An enormous exclusion zone was created. Empty, eerily silent, and still dangerous. Their lives were changed completely forever. A deep, lasting psychological wound remained. The land all around Chernobyl remains dangerously contaminated even today. The insidious poison is in the soil. It is in the trees, in the water. It will stay there for many centuries, a permanent, lingering, invisible threat. Nature slowly reclaims the empty zone, but it is a tragically poisoned nature. Chernobyl stands as a stark warning about nuclear power's inherent grave risks, about the terrible ultimate cost of lies, about fundamental human fallibility. The world learned a very hard lesson, a very hard, incredibly bitter lesson. The name Chernobyl still echoes loudly, a constant reminder of that fateful day. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content.